Beloved soul, pause for a moment, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary, and it is not random. This message has been released with urgency, marked specifically for this moment in time, and it carries a truth that may shake everything you thought you understood about your pain. On July 17th, something unseen yet powerful has already begun to unfold, and it involves you more deeply than you can imagine. There were nights when no one saw you, moments when your voice trembled, yet no words came out, times when the weight on your heart felt too heavy to explain, so you remained silent, holding everything inside. You believed those tears fell into emptiness, unnoticed and unanswered. But hear this clearly now: those tears were never lost. Not one of them disappeared into the void. Every single tear you shed carried a message, a frequency, a language far more powerful than spoken words. Archangel Michael steps forward at this very hour to reveal a mystery hidden from human understanding. What you thought with witness without hooligan game. What you thought was silence was a sacred transmission. There exists a divine system, a heavenly language that does not rely on words, but on the raw truth of your soul. And you, without even realizing it, have been speaking it fluently. Yes, your silent tears have been translated. Let that settle within you. The moments when your heart broke quietly, when you cried without making a sound, when you looked up and wondered if anyone was listening, those were not empty moments. They were recorded. They were received. They were understood in the highest realms of heaven. Your pain became petitions. Your sorrow became evidence. Your endurance became a testimony that has now reached the courts of divine authority. And here is the part that will surprise you the most: those petitions are no longer waiting. They are being answered. Right now, as you are listening to this, something has already shifted. The spiritual realm has moved in response to what your soul has been saying all along. You may not see it yet. You may not feel the full impact yet. But behind the veil, decisions have been made, motions have been set into place, and your situation is no longer standing still. This is why July 17th is not just another day. It is a divine marker, a moment where what was hidden begins to surface, where what was delayed begins to move, where what felt ignored is finally acknowledged in power. Archangel Michael is not bringing you a distant promise. He is bringing you confirmation. Confirmation that your suffering had purpose. Confirmation that your silence carried weight. Confirmation that heaven has not only heard you, but has responded. So if your heart is pounding right now, if something deep inside you is stirring, it is because your spirit recognizes this truth. You were never alone in your pain. You were never forgotten in your silence. And what is about to unfold will prove that everything you endured was leading to this very moment. Stay with this message, because what comes next will reveal how your soul's language unlocked doors you didn't even know existed. There is a depth within you that words have never been able to fully express. You have tried, at times, to explain what you feel, to describe the heaviness, the longing, the quiet ache that sits in your chest, but language has always fallen short. And that is because what you have been carrying does not belong to the surface level of human speech. It belongs to something far deeper, something sacred, something ancient. This is what Archangel Michael calls the language of the soul. This language does not rely on vocabulary, grammar, or sound. It is not spoken with the lips, but released through the spirit. It moves through your emotions, your silence, your tears, your endurance. Every sigh you thought was meaningless, every moment you sat in stillness, overwhelmed yet unable to explain why, every tear that fell without a single word attached to it, all of it formed a message. And not just any message, but one that heaven understands with absolute clarity. You see, Human words can sometimes be filtered, restrained, or even masked. But the language of the soul cannot be faked. It is pure. It is raw. It carries the exact truth of what you are experiencing without distortion. When you felt broken but could not explain it, your soul spoke perfectly. When you felt abandoned, confused, or exhausted, your soul released a cry that needed no translation on your part, because heaven itself became the translator. Archangel Michael reveals that there is a divine system already in place, one that receives these soul expressions instantly. It does not wait for you to find the right words. It does not require you to be strong or composed. In fact, it responds most powerfully when you are at your most vulnerable. That is when your soul speaks the loudest. Think about the moments when you felt like giving up, yet you did. When you sat in silence, staring into nothing, carrying everything. When your tears fell not out of weakness, but because your heart could no longer hold the weight. In those moments, you were not failing. You were communicating at the highest spiritual level possible. Your soul was sending a message directly into the courts of heaven, bypassing every earthly limitation. And what makes this even more powerful is this: your soul does not just speak randomly. It speaks with intention, with structure, with purpose. Every tear carried meaning. Some carried requests for healing. Others carried cries for justice. Some carrying questions, while others carried surrender. And heaven did not overlook a single one. Each expression was received, documented, and translated into something far greater than you imagined. This is why spoken prayers sometimes feel different from those silent moments of breaking. Spoken prayers are important, but they often come from your mind, shaped by what you think you should say. The language of the soul, however, comes from your deepest truth. It is not rehearsed. It is not filtered. It is real. And because it is real, it carries a weight that reaches places words cannot. Archangel Michael is revealing this now because you are stepping into a moment where understanding this truth changes everything. You are no longer someone whose pain went unnoticed. You are someone whose soul has been actively communicating with heaven all along. What you thought was emptiness was actually connection. What you thought was silence was actually dialogue. And here is what you must understand moving forward. Your soul has already said everything that needed to be said. You do not need to go back and explain yourself. You do not need to repeat your pain or justify your tears. The message has already been delivered in its purest form. Now, heaven is responding not to what you said with your lips, but to what your soul declared in truth. This is why things are beginning to shift, even if you cannot fully see it yet. Because when the soul speaks, heaven does not delay forever. There comes a moment when the response is released, when what was spoken in silence begins to manifest in reality. And you are standing at the edge of that moment right now. There is something sacred that has been happening behind the scenes of your life, something you were never meant to see with your physical eyes. Yet it has everything to do with what you are feeling right now. Archangel Michael is revealing a truth that carries both comfort and awe. Every tear you have ever shed has been collected. Not figuratively, not symbolically, but spiritually and intentionally preserved as something of great value in the heavenly realm. Imagine this for a moment. Each time your eyes filled with tears, each time your heart broke in silence, heaven did not turn away. Instead, those tears were received like offerings. They were gathered, held, and recorded with precision. What felt like a private moment of pain to you was, in reality, a sacred exchange taking place between your soul and the divine. Nothing about your suffering was casual or overlooked. It was witnessed fully. There is an ancient spiritual imagery that Archangel Michael brings into your awareness, of bowls in heaven, filled not with gold or riches, but with the tears of those who have endured in silence. Your tears are among them. Each drop represents a moment where you chose to keep going, even when it hurt. Each tear carries the weight of what you survived, what you endured, and what you released when you could no longer carry it alone. And here is where the mystery deepens. Those tears did not remain as tears. They were transformed. What you experienced as sorrow was translated into something far more powerful: petitions. Legal, spiritual petitions that were presented before the highest courts of heaven. Your pain became evidence. Your endurance became a testimony. Your silence became a voice that spoke louder than any words ever could. This is not poetic language. This is a divine process that has been unfolding without your awareness. Every moment you felt like nothing was happening, something was being prepared. Every time you wondered why your situation had not changed, there was movement taking place in a realm you could not see. Your tears were building a case, not against you, but for you. They were speaking on your behalf, declaring truths that required divine response. Archangel Michael stands as both a witness and a defender in this process. He has seen your struggle. He has seen the moments when you almost gave up but didn't. He has seen the quiet strength you carried when no one else recognized it. And now, he is revealing that none of it was wasted. Not one tear fell without purpose. Not one moment of pain was without meaning. This is why you may begin to feel a shift within yourself, an unexplainable sense that something is changing. It is because the weight you carried is no longer just yours. It hath been acknowledged, processed, and elevated into something that demands response. Heaven does not ignore such offerings. It responds to them with intention and timing. You may have believed that your suffering made you invisible, but in truth, it made you known. Deeply known. Your story has been written not just in memory, but in divine record. And now, those records are being opened. What was once stored is now being reviewed. What was once collected is now being answered. Let this truth settle into your spirit. You were never crying alone. You were never breaking without purpose. Every tear you released carried a message, and every message has reached its destination. So as you stand in this moment, even if your circumstances have not yet fully changed, understand this: something irreversible has already begun. The process has moved forward. The response is no longer a question of if, but when. And that when is closer than you think. Type "My tears were seen" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 333 is now activated over your life. And as you receive this truth, understand that this message is not just for you alone. It is part of a greater mission to reach countless souls who are still crying in silence, believing no one hears them. When you choose to support this work, you are helping those hidden tears be recognized, just like yours were. The word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and this is not just a verse, it is a living promise being fulfilled right now. I feel led to say this: as you give, you are not losing, you are planting into a harvest of healing for others. Your support becomes light in someone else's darkness, a voice for someone who feels voiceless. Do not hesitate in this moment. Step into alignment with what is being released. Sow your seed through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description, or even through the QR code placed before you. As you do, may heaven multiply it back into your life in ways that overflow beyond expectation. There is a realm beyond what your eyes can see, a place where decisions are not based on emotion alone, but on truth, evidence, and divine order. Archangel Michael now draws your attention to this sacred reality, the courts of heaven. This is not a metaphor. It is a spiritual system of justice, where every matter concerning your life is examined with precision, where nothing is rushed and nothing is ignored. Right now, your case is not forgotten. It is being reviewed. Think about that carefully. Every tear that was collected, every silent cry that was translated, every moment of endurance that became evidence. These are not just memories. They have been presented. Your life, your struggles, your unanswered questions have been brought into a place where divine judgment operates with perfect clarity. And unlike the world, where things can be unfair or delayed without reason, this court functions on truth alone. You may have wondered why certain situations in your life seemed to stretch longer than expected. Why answers did not come when you asked. Why doors remained closed even when you felt ready. It is because there was a process taking place that required timing, alignment, and undeniable evidence. Nothing in this court is handled casually. Every detail matters. Every moment of your journey has been accounted for. Archangel Michael stands in this place not only as a messenger, but as a defender. He carries the authority to present, to protect, and to ensure that what has been spoken by your soul is honored. He has seen the full picture of your life, the parts others misunderstood, the intentions behind your actions, the battles you fought internally that no one else knew about. And he brings all of this forward with clarity and strength. At the same time, there are forces that have tried to resist your progress, not in a way to create fear, but to help you understand the weight of what is happening. Every breakthrough, every answered petition, every shift in your life has significance. And because of that, there have been moments where your case required deeper review, stronger confirmation, and complete alignment before a decision could be released. But here is what is changing now. The delay you experienced was not denial. It was preparation. It was the gathering of everything necessary so that when the decision is made, it cannot be reversed, questioned, or undone. What is established in this court carries permanence. It carries authority that reaches beyond temporary circumstances. This is why you are being told now that something is actively moving. The review is no longer stagnant. The process is no longer paused. What was once being prepared is now being examined for final release. You may not hear a sound. You may not see a visible sign immediately. But in the realm where your soul has been speaking, there is movement. And when heaven moves, it does not move halfway. Archangel Michael wants you to understand this clearly. You are not waiting for someone to notice you anymore. You have already been seen. You are not trying to prove your worth. It has already been established. You are not hoping for your voice to be heard. It already has been, in the most powerful way possible. Now, the focus shifts from your expression to heaven's response. There's a moment in every case where the review reaches completion, where the evidence has been fully considered, and where a decision is no longer delayed. You are approaching that moment. The weight you carried has already spoken for you. The tears you shed have already testified. The silence you endured has already declared everything that needed to be known. So if you feel a sense of anticipation rising within you, it is not without reason. It is because your spirit is beginning to recognize that something is nearing completion, that what hath been building behind the scenes is preparing to step into your visible reality. Stay steady in this moment. Do not allow doubt to cloud what is being revealed to you. The chords of heaven are not uncertain. They are precise. And what is being decided concerning you is not temporary. It is established with divine authority. What comes next will not feel like coincidence. It will feel like confirmation. There are moments in time that pass like any other day, and then there are moments that are marked, set apart, chosen, and sealed with divine significance. July 17th is not an ordinary date in your life. It is not just another day on a calendar. Archangel Michael is revealing that this specific moment has been aligned in the spiritual realm long before you became aware of it. It carries a weight, a purpose, and a release that connects directly to everything your soul has been expressing. You may be wondering why this date, why now, why you? The answer is found in timing, divine timing that does not operate according to human expectation. There has been a sequence unfolding, a preparation that required patience, endurance, and alignment. What felt like waiting to you was actually positioning. What felt like delay was the careful orchestration of events, both seen and unseen, coming into agreement. July 17th represents a turning point. It is the moment where what has been building internally begins to manifest externally. The petitions formed by your tears, the case presented in the courts of heaven, the evidence gathered through your endurance, all of it converges at this point. This is not the beginning of your story. This is the moment where your story begins to shift direction. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity here. There are spiritual alignments that must occur before a release can happen. People, places, decisions, and even timing itself must come into harmony. You may not have seen these pieces moving, but they have been. Quietly, precisely, without announcement. And now, they are reaching a place of completion. This is why you may feel something different within you. A subtle shift. A sense that something is about to change, even if you cannot fully explain it. Your spirit is responding to what has already been set into motion. It recognizes that this moment carries significance beyond what your physical senses can detect. On this day, barriers begin to weaken. Things that once felt immovable start to loosen. Situations that seemed fixed begin to open in unexpected ways. This does not always happen in a dramatic or instant form. Sometimes it begins quietly, like a door unlocking before it swings open. But make no mistake, the shift is real. Archangel Michael also reveals that July 17th is a moment of spiritual authorization. What has been reviewed is now being approved. What has been prepared is now being released. This is not based on chance. It is based on everything that has already been established through your journey. And yet, there is something important you must understand. This shift does not require you to force anything. It does not require you to struggle or strive harder. In fact, it calls for the opposite. It calls for awareness. It calls for trust. It calls for a willingness to recognize what is changing, even if it appears small at first. Because sometimes the most powerful movements begin in subtle ways. A conversation that feels different. A thought that brings clarity. A door that opens where there was once resistance. A sense of peace where there was once heaviness. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that the alignment is taking effect. This date is also a reminder that you are not disconnected from what is happening. You are part of it. Your soul has played a role in bringing this moment into existence. Every tear, every silent cry, every moment of endurance contributed to what is now unfolding. So do not dismiss this as just another day. Do not overlook the significance of what is being revealed. July 17th is a marker, a line between what was and what is now beginning. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this transition. He is not only announcing it, but guiding you through it. His presence ensures that what has been initiated will continue to unfold according to divine order. And as this moment arrives, whether you feel it immediately or gradually, hold on to this truth: something has shifted in your favor. Not temporarily, not uncertainly, but intentionally and with purpose. You are no longer standing in the same place you once were. Even if everything around you looks familiar, the reality beneath it has changed. And the change has already begun. There has been a voice that followed you through your journey, one that did not always speak loudly, but whispered just enough to plant doubt, to question your worth, to make you wonder if you were truly seen, truly heard, truly deserving. It spoke in moments of weakness, in times of delay, in seasons where nothing seemed to move. It suggested that maybe you were overlooked, maybe your prayers were not enough, maybe your silence meant you were forgotten. But that voice no longer holds authority. Archangel Michael is revealing something powerful in this moment. The accuser has been silenced. Understand this clearly. Every doubt that tried to rise against you, every unseen opposition that questioned your journey, every force that attempted to use your past, your pain, or your silence as a reason to deny you what is rightfully yours, those arguments have been addressed. They have been brought into the same courts where your tears were presented, and they have not stood. There was a time when these accusations seemed strong, when your own thoughts echoed them, when circumstances around you appeared to confirm them. You may have even believed them at certain points, wondering if perhaps you had failed in ways you could not fix. But what you could not see was that those accusations were being challenged, examined, and ultimately overturned. In the courts of heaven, nothing is accepted without truth. And the truth of your life, your heart, and your endurance has spoken louder than any opposing voice. Archangel Michael stands not only as a messenger, but as a defender who has actively confronted everything that tried to stand against you. He has brought forward the full picture of who you are, not just your moments of struggle, but your resilience, your intentions, your perseverance when it would have been easier to walk away. He has presented the truth that could not be distorted. And when truth stands, accusation falls. This is why something within you may already feel lighter, even if you cannot fully explain it. The weight of being misunderstood, the heaviness of questioning yourself, the pressure of feeling like you had to prove something, it is beginning to lift. Because the foundation of those feelings has been removed. The accuser no longer has a voice in your case. That means the narrative that once worked against you is no longer active. The story that tried to define you by your pain is no longer being accepted. What remains now is clarity. What remains now is truth. What remains now is the authority of what has already been established in your favor. And here is where the shift becomes even more significant. When the accuser is silenced, it creates space. Space for restoration. Space for movement. Space for what was held back to finally be released without resistance. The barriers that once seemed tied to your situation were not only external, they were connected to these unseen arguments that have now been resolved. This is why things may begin to move in ways that feel unexpected. Situations that once felt blocked may begin to open. Conversations may shift. Opportunities may arise where there was once nothing. It will not feel forced. It will feel like something has simply cleared. Because it has. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that this is not something you need to fight for anymore. The battle that required defense has already been handled. What remains is the unfolding of what has been secured. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into something that has already been established. So release the need to question yourself. Release the habit of revisiting past doubts. Release the fear that something might still stand against you. What needed to be addressed has been addressed. What needed to be silenced hath been silenced. Now, what moves forward does so without opposition. And as this reality settles into your life, you will begin to notice it, not always in dramatic ways at first, but in subtle confirmations. A sense of peace where there was once petition. A clarity where there was once confusion. A quiet confidence that does not need to prove itself. This is what it feels like when the weight of accusation is removed. You are no longer carrying what was never meant to define you. You are no longer standing under something that has already been dismissed. The silence you feel now is not emptiness. It is peace. And in that peace, something new is already beginning to rise. Something has already begun to move in your favor, even if your eyes have not fully caught up with it yet. Archangel Michael is making this clear. What you have been waiting for is no longer in a state of preparation alone. He has entered the phase of release. The answers you once hoped for are no longer distant possibilities. They are now active, unfolding, and making their way into your reality. This is the moment where waiting begins to transition into receiving. For so long, your position felt like standing still. You held on. You endured. You continued forward even when progress was not visible. There were days when you questioned whether anything was truly changing. But what you could not see was that everything was being set into motion at a level beyond your immediate awareness. Now, that motion is no longer hidden. Answers are already being released. They may not arrive all at once, and they may not come in the exact form you imagined, but they are real, and they are on their way. Some will come as opportunities, doors opening where there were none before. Others will come as clarity, sudden understanding that shifts how you see your situation. Some will come as peace, a deep, unshakable calm that replaces confusion and fear. Do not underestimate these forms. Not every answer arrives with noise. Some arrive quietly, yet carry the greatest impact. Archangel Michael wants you to remain aware in this moment. Not anxious, not forceful, but aware. Because when something begins to move after a long period of stillness, it can feel unfamiliar. You may even question it at first, wondering if it is real, if it will last, if it is truly meant for you. But understand this, what is being released now is not temporary. It is connected to everything that has already been established in the spiritual realm. It carries alignment, not randomness. It carries intention, not coincidence. You may begin to notice small shifts. A situation that once felt heavy may begin to feel lighter. A delay that once frustrated you may suddenly resolve. A connection that seemed distant may come back into alignment. These are not isolated events. They are part of a larger movement that has already been initiated. And here is something important to hold on to. You do not need to chase what is being released. You do not need to force outcomes or rush the process. What is meant for you will find its way to you because it has already been authorized. This is where trust becomes essential. Not the kind of trust that feels forced or uncertain, but a quiet confidence that something is working in your favor, even when you do not have all the details. This kind of trust allows you to receive without resistance. It allows you to recognize what is being given instead of questioning it. Archangel Michael is guiding you into this space intentionally. Because when answers begin to arrive, the way you respond to them matters. If you remain grounded, aware, and open, you will begin to see how everything connects. What once felt scattered will begin to make sense. What once felt delayed will reveal its purpose. There is also a shift happening within you, not just around you. Your perspective is changing. Your strength is stabilizing. Your awareness is expanding. These internal changes are just as important as the external ones, because they prepare you to receive what is coming without fear or doubt. You are no longer in the same position you once were. You are not the same person who first began this journey. You have grown, endured, and developed a deeper understanding of yourself and your connection to something greater. This is why the answers are being released now. You are ready for them. And as they continue to unfold, you will begin to recognize them more clearly. What once felt uncertain will begin to feel aligned. What once felt distant will begin to feel close. What once felt impossible will begin to feel real. Stay present in this moment. Stay open to what is unfolding. Because what is arriving is not random. It is the response to everything your soul has already spoken. And that response is already in motion. There is something important you must understand as these answers begin to unfold in your life. They will not always arrive in the way you expected. Archangel Michael is making this clear so that you do not miss what is already being placed before you. Because sometimes, when we imagine how our prayers will be answered, we unknowingly limit the form in which those answers can appear. You may have expected something dramatic, immediate, or obvious, a sudden breakthrough that leaves no room for doubt. And while that can happen, many of the most powerful answers come quietly, almost unnoticed at first. They arrive wrapped in moments that seem ordinary, yet carry extraordinary purpose. This is why awareness is so important now. An answer may come through a conversation you did not plan, a person reaching out unexpectedly, a shift in your thinking that brings clarity where there was once confusion, a door opening in a place you had not even considered. These moments may not look like the answers you imagined, but they are aligned with what your soul had been asking for. Archangel Michael is guiding you to look beyond appearances. Because heaven does not operate within human expectations. It operates with precision, with wisdom, and with a perspective that sees far beyond what you can currently see. What feels unfamiliar to you may actually be the exact path that leads to what you have been waiting for. There may also be moments where an answer comes in the form of redirection. Something you thought would happen may not unfold the way you expected. A path you were certain about may shift. At first, it can feel confusing, even disappointing. But do not mistake redirection for denial. Sometimes, the greatest answer is not in receiving what you thought you wanted, but in being guided toward what you truly need. This is where trust deepens. Not just trusting that something is happening, but trusting that what is happening is right, even if it feels different. Archangel Michael is present in these transitions, ensuring that every movement aligns with what has already been established in your favor. You are not being led randomly. You are being guided intentionally. You may begin to notice that certain things no longer feel the same. What once felt important may begin to lose its hold on you. What once felt distant may begin to feel closer. This is part of the adjustment. This is part of stepping into alignment with what is being released. There is also a quiet confidence that begins to rise within you. Not loud or forceful, but steady. A sense that you are moving in the right direction, even if you cannot fully explain why. This is another sign that the answers are unfolding. Do not rush this process. Allow it to reveal itself step by step. Because each moment is connected. Each shift is leading to something greater. When you try to force clarity too quickly, you may overlook the details that are guiding you. But when you remain present, you begin to see how everything fits together. Archangel Michael is asking you to remain open, not just to what you expect, but to what you do not expect. Because the unexpected is often where the most powerful transformations occur. You are no longer in a place of waiting without direction. You are in a place of movement, even if it feels subtle at first. And as this movement continues, it will become clearer. What once felt uncertain will begin to take shape. What once felt distant will begin to arrive. Trust what is unfolding, even if it does not match the image you had in your mind. Because what is being given to you now is not limited by your expectations. It is guided by something far greater. Type "I trust the divine process" in the comments if you feel this shift happening within you. Blessing code 888 is now activated over your life. And as this message reaches your spirit, understand this: what is flowing into your life right now is not just for you, but through you. There are others still waiting in silence, still searching for confirmation that their tears matter. When you step into this moment and choose to give, you become a vessel through which light continues to reach them. The word speaks, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And this is not a distant promise. It is alive and active in this very moment. I feel this strongly. As you sow into this mission, you are aligning yourself with the very flow of heaven that is now responding to your life. Your seed becomes a river that carries hope into places where darkness once lived. Do not delay what your spirit is prompting you to do. Release your offering through Super Thanks with a PayPal link in the description, or through the QR code placed before you. And as you act, may what you release return to you multiplied, overflowing, and undeniable. What you once called pain is no longer what it used to be. It may still exist in your memory. It may still echo in certain moments, but its meaning has changed. Archangel Michael is revealing that your suffering has not only been acknowledged, it hath been rewritten. What you endured is no longer just a story of hardship. It is now becoming a story of purpose. There was a time when your pain felt random, disconnected, even unfair. You questioned why certain things had to happen the way they did. You wondered why you had to carry what others could not see or understand. In those moments, it felt like your experience had no clear direction, no visible outcome that justified what you were going through. But now, something deeper is being revealed. Every moment you endured hath been woven into something meaningful. The tears that once felt like weakness have become part of your strength. The silence you carried has shaped your awareness. The struggles you faced have built a depth within you that cannot be taught or replaced. This is what transformation looks like, not the removal of your past, but the redefinition of it. Archangel Michael is guiding you to see that your story has shifted from something that happened to you into something that is now working through you. Your experiences are no longer just personal. They carry a purpose that extends beyond your own life. There are people who will recognize themselves in your journey. People who are currently standing where you once stood, confused, overwhelmed, uncertain. And without even trying, your presence, your words, your energy will begin to reach them. Not because you planned it, but because what you have been through has created a connection that cannot be manufactured. This is how pain becomes purpose. Not by forcing it, not by pretending it was easy, but by allowing what you experienced to hold meaning. By recognizing that your journey has value, not just in the outcome, but in the process itself. You are not the same person who first began this path. There is a strength in you now that did not exist before, a clarity that has been shaped through experience, a depth that allows you to see beyond the surface of situations and understand what truly matters. And this is why what is unfolding now is so significant. Because the answers being released into your life are not just about changing your circumstances. They are about aligning your purpose. They are about placing you in positions, situations, and connections that reflect who you have become. Archangel Michael is showing that what once felt like loss is now becoming alignment. What once felt like confusion is now becoming direction. What once felt like an ending is now revealing itself as a transition into something greater. You may begin to notice that your perspective continues to shift. Things that once held your focus may no longer feel as important, and things you never considered before may begin to draw your attention. This is part of the realignment. This is part of stepping into a life that reflects your growth. there is also a sense of responsibility that may begin to rise within you, not as pressure but as awareness, an understanding that what you have gained through your journey is not meant to be hidden or ignored. It carries value, it carries meaning, and it has the ability to impact others in ways you may not yet fully see. This does not mean you have to do anything extraordinary or complicated. Sometimes, simply being who you are now is enough. The way you respond to situations, the way you carry yourself, the way you understand others, these things naturally reflect the transformation that has taken place within you. And that transformation did not happen without reason. Archangel Michael is reminding you that your life is not random. It is intentional. Every experience, every challenge, every moment of growth has contributed to where you are now. And where you are now is not the end. It is a continuation, a step into something that carries even greater meaning. So do not look back at your pain as something that only hurt you. Begin to see it as something that shaped you, something that prepared you, something that is now being used in ways that extend beyond what you once understood. Because your story is no longer just about what you went through. It is about what is now being revealed through you. There are moments in life when everything seems closed, when no matter how hard you try, the path ahead feels blocked, uncertain, or completely out of reach. You may have stood before doors that would not open, opportunities that never came, or situations that left you feeling stuck in place. At the time, it felt like rejection. It felt like limitation. It felt like something was being kept from you. But Archangel Michael is revealing something that changes how you see those moments completely. Those doors were not closed to stop you. They were closed to protect you, to prepare you, and to align you with something greater. And now, those same doors are beginning to open. This is not about returning to what once was. It is about stepping into what is now ready for you. The difference is important, because what is opening now is not based on who you used to be, but on who you have become through everything you have endured. You may begin to notice this in subtle ways at first. A situation that once felt impossible suddenly presents a new opportunity. A connection that once seemed distant begins to reconnect. A path that felt blocked starts to reveal small openings that were not there before. These are not coincidences. They are signs that something has shifted in your favor. Archangel Michael is guiding these openings with precision. Nothing is random. Nothing is misplaced. Each opportunity, each connection, each step forward is aligned with what has already been established in the spiritual realm. What you are experiencing now is the physical reflection of decisions that have already been made beyond what you can see. This is why the doors opening now will feel different. They will not carry the same confusion or resistance you felt before. There will be a sense of clarity, even if everything is not fully revealed yet. A sense that this direction feels right, that this opportunity aligns, that this movement makes sense in a way that previous attempts did not. It is also important to understand that not every open door is meant to be rushed through. Some require awareness. Some require discernment. Archangel Michael is not only opening doors, he is also guiding you in how to walk through them. There is a difference between forcing an opportunity and recognizing one that has been prepared for you. What is meant for you will not demand struggle to enter. It will invite you forward with a sense of alignment. You may also notice that certain doors remain closed. Things you once hoped for may no longer be available in the way you expected. And this is where understanding becomes essential. Not every closed door is a loss. Some are confirmations that your path has changed. Archangel Michael is ensuring that what remains closed does so for a reason, not to deny you, but to direct you. Because what is ahead of you now is not a repetition of your past. It is a new alignment that reflects your growth. This is where trust and awareness come together. As doors begin to open, allow yourself to move forward without carrying the weight of past disappointments. Do not assume that new opportunities will lead to the same outcomes as before. You are not in the same place. You are not the same person. And what is being presented to you now is not the same as what came before. There is also a sense of restoration connected to these openings. Things that felt lost may return in a new form. Opportunities that seemed gone may reappear in a way that aligns better with who you are now. This is not about going backward. It is about receiving what was always meant for you, now aligned with your current path. Archangel Michael stands at these thresholds, guiding you step by step. You are not walking into uncertainty alone. You are being led into something that has already been prepared, already been established, already been approved. So as you begin to see these doors opening, do not hesitate in fear. Do not hold back because of what happened before. Recognize this moment for what it is, a transition from limitation into possibility. You are no longer standing outside, wondering if something will open. You are stepping into a season where doors are already opening for you, and each one is leading you exactly where you are meant to be. There is a quiet but powerful shift taking place within you, one that may not be immediately visible to others, but is deeply transforming the way you see yourself and your future. Archangel Michael is revealing that you are not only stepping into answers and open doors, you are being positioned for something greater than you originally imagined. This positioning is intentional. It is not slukakli movement or temporary change. It is a deliberate alignment that is preparing you for a level of purpose, clarity, and responsibility that matches everything you have gone through. The journey you have walked was not only about surviving difficult moments, it was about shaping you into someone who is ready to carry what comes next. You may begin to notice that your mindset is evolving. The way you respond to challenges is different now. Situations that once overwhelmed you no longer have the same effect. There is a steadiness forming within you, a sense of grounding that allows you to move forward without being easily shaken. This is part of your preparation. Archangel Michael is guiding you into a place where you are no longer reacting to life from a place of uncertainty, but responding from a place of awareness. You're beginning to see things more clearly, not just what is happening, but why it is happening. There is also a shift in what you are drawn to. What once felt important may no longer hold your attention. Certain environments, conversations, or patterns may begin to feel out of alignment with who you are becoming. This is not a loss. It is refinement. It is the natural process of moving into a space that reflects your growth. At the same time, new opportunities, ideas, and connections may begin to appear. These are not random. They are part of your positioning. Each one carries a purpose, even if you do not fully understand it yet. Some may challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone. Others may invite you into areas you never considered before. This is where trust becomes active, not just believing that something is happening, but participating in it. Being willing to step forward when something feels aligned, even if you do not have all the answers. Archangel Michael is not asking you to move blindly. He is guiding you step by step, ensuring that each movement is supported. There is also an increase in your awareness of your own value, not in a way that is loud or forceful, but in a quiet confidence that grows within you. You begin to recognize that what you carry, your experiences, your perspective, your understanding, has significance. This awareness is important because where you are being positioned requires you to stand in the truth. You are not being placed into something greater by accident. You are being placed there because you are ready to handle it. Everything you have gone through has contributed to this readiness. The patience you developed, the strength you built, the understanding you gained, all of it is now part of what allows you to step into this next phase. Archangel Michael is also reminding you that positioning does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels subtle. A shift in direction. A new opportunity that seems small at first. A conversation that leads to something unexpected. These moments may not appear significant immediately, but they are part of a larger movement that is guiding you forward. Do not overlook them. There is also a sense of responsibility that comes with this positioning, not as pressure but as awareness. An understanding that what you are stepping into is not just about you. It has the potential to impact others, to create change, to bring something meaningful into the lives of those around you. This does not mean you have to have everything figured out. It simply means you are aware that your journey carries purpose beyond your own experience. And as you continue to move forward, you will begin to see this more clearly. The connections between your past, your present, and what is unfolding ahead will start to make sense. What once felt uncertain will begin to feel aligned. Archangel Michael stands with you in this transition, ensuring that every step you take is supported, guided, and protected. You are not stepping into something beyond your ability. You are stepping into something that matches who you have become. So trust where you are being led. Trust what is unfolding within you. Because you are not just moving forward. You are being positioned exactly where you are meant to be. Peace. Be still now because what you have been waiting for has already been set into motion. And there is nothing left for you to strive for in fear. Archangel Michael is speaking to you with gentleness in this moment, not urgency, not pressure, but assurance. The kind of assurance that settles deep within your spirit and reminds you that the battle you thought you were still fighting has already been handled. You have walked through moments that stretched your strength. You have carried questions that seemed to have no answers. You have endured silence that felt heavy and uncertain. But now, you are being invited into something different. Not another season of striving, not another phase of wondering, but a place of rest. Rest, not because nothing is happening, but because everything has already been decided. The petitions formed by your tears have been heard. The case that was built through your endurance has been reviewed. The accusations that once stood against you have been silenced. And the answers that belong to you have already begun their journey into your life. There is nothing uncertain about what hath been established. This is why Archangel Michael is asking you to release the weight you have been carrying. The need to constantly figure everything out. The urge to hold everything together on your own. The fear that something might go wrong. These things no longer belong to you. You are stepping into a space where trust replaces tension. This does not mean that everything will instantly look perfect around you. It means that within you, something has shifted. A knowing, a quiet confidence, a peace that does not depend on immediate proof but on the truth that what had been set into motion cannot be undone. You may begin to notice this peace in small ways. A calmness where there was once anxiety. A clarity where there was once confusion. A sense that you no longer need to rush or force outcomes. These are not small changes. They are signs that you are aligning with what has already been completed in the spiritual realm. Archangel Michael stands with you not as a distant presence, but as a guide who has walked with you through every unseen moment. He has witnessed your tears. He has carried your petitions. And now, he leaves you with this final truth. You are not waiting anymore. You are receiving. Even if it unfolds step by step, even if it reveals itself gradually, What belongs to you is already on its way, and nothing can stand against what has been established in your favor. So allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to release. Allow yourself to trust. You have done enough. You have carried enough. And now, let heaven do what it has already begun. Type "I receive my answers" in the comments if you feel this peace settling over your spirit. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your life. And as this message comes to completion, hear this deeply. What has reached you today is not it is a divine flow meant to continue beyond you. There are still souls crying in silence, still hearts waiting for confirmation that their pain has meaning, just like you once did. When you respond to this moment, you become part of that sacred flow. The word declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days," and this is a living invitation being spoken over you now. I feel led to say this clearly. As you give, you are aligning yourself with the very movement of heaven that answered your tears. Your seed becomes light, becomes oil, becomes a river reaching those still in darkness. Do not hold back in this sacred moment. Release your offering through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, with the QR code placed before you. And as you do, may what you release return to you multiplied, overflowing, and filled with undeniable peace and blessing.